Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lucas Monster, joined with Side Quester,
Hello.
and today we're doing a Black Series discussion as well as some Ahsoka discussion too. So, yeah,
Should I
but
should I warn them already?
yeah, go for it, go for it.
There's an air show this weekend, and I am in the flight path. So you might hear some F-22 Raptors, other things flying overhead. I do apologize. I'll try to get ahead of it and mute if we can. But I'm literally like right in their landing path right now, and they're practicing. So here we go.
Yeah, no worries. But before we go ahead and say hi to everyone in the chat, do you want to maybe go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about your channel and what you do?
Sure. I'm SideQuester. I have a channel on YouTube. I do reviews, toy reviews. I try not to take myself too seriously. I have also written a book that is somewhere. I don't have a copy this time.
Yeah, I see the poster is on the wall.
They got me. I can't change my camera right now. But yeah, that's me. Hello. How's it going?
Yeah. Thanks for joining again.
No problem.
All of SideQuester's links are in the description for his YouTube channel and his book. Make sure to go check him out. Highly recommend it. And
Thank you.
yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Obviously, we do have Jonathan Anderson in the chat.
Hello.
We have James Vincent.
Hello.
Dusty Trooper, what's up?
Hello.
We got my boy Phase 2 Action Review.
Phase 2. How's it going?
We got Darth Musa. F-22s, turn up the mic.
I don't think I'll need to.
It's actually my 1 year of being Phase 2 before I went by Captain Rex. I remember that. Yeah.
Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
We also have Phantom Menace Dennis. What's up, dude? It's nice to see you in the chat. I know you're a rather new watcher to the channel, but it's nice to see you involved. So, what's up?
I love your name.
Welcome to the chat. Yeah, Phantom Menace Dennis is an awesome name. But yeah, so that's everyone right now. Got about 12 people in the chat. Do we want to get into news?
What do you want to start? Yeah, let's start with the news. It's been a few weeks, so we've got, even though there's not a whole lot of news, we do have a few things to cover. So
yeah,
and jets.
Oh, there's the F-22 right there. Yeah. What's up? We got my boy Greg. Greg's one of my favorite peoples. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Greg?
Check your text, Greg. I'll shoot you something. But yeah, dude. I just try my best. I really love making videos, and especially news videos. News videos are great, and so I'm glad I could help out. We also got oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher that name. Harpo Quandrax. Harpo Quandrax. Welcome to the chat.
Hello.
Yeah, let's jump into some real quick news. Spook Nest stream.
I didn't realize it was Friday.
It is. I mean, it is Friday the 13th. So.
Scary. Are you superstitious?
1 second. No, I'm only a little stitious.
Oh, you're mildly stitious?
I'm mildly stitious, yeah. No, not really. So, but news Nest Monster. Let's get into the news. Looks like so the brand new Starkiller set. Got him right here.
Nice.
PulseCon Starkiller. Did go up for pre-order again on Hasbro Pulse. Is that the next slide? Or
yeah. So basically, I put this up because it sold out within a few hours.
Yeah, it was up for a while.
Yeah, but then it was gone, and I was like, oh man. And then a couple hours later, it went back up for pre-order. They're supposed to ship around November 1st. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people got theirs right away, ourselves included. Some people have been kind of worried that um, maybe they wouldn't fill orders right away. It seems like if you got it within that first grouping, most people already have them. If not,
Yeah.
they would be shipping soon.
Yeah, I don't know how long the pre-orders are gonna take to re-ship, but we'll see. I mean, I imagine that it's not gonna take too long to get a second wave of them. But,
Yeah, it says November 1st that they're starting to ship. So
oh yeah, that's nothing.
um,
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll go ahead and put a disclaimer out there. I'm still trying to get over a cold, and I don't want to like cough into the mic and like blow out everyone's eardrum. So I'm trying my best to mute my mic whenever I do. But I just wanted to put that out there.
well, I'm glad you're here, and thank you for doing it despite not feeling at 100%.
It's okay. It's been a few weeks, so gotta keep the grind on. We got Edwin in the chat. What's up? We also got Tony.
Hello, Edwin. Hello, Tony.
We got Dusty Trooper. Jabba is shipping from Hasbro Pulse. A little spoiler for recent pickups.
That's awesome.
That's all you'll see for now. Picked up Padawan Ahsoka Phase 2 Clone Trooper this week. Dang, I still have not gotten them.
Where did you find them?
That's a good question. Yeah, good question. We also got Commander Doom. I guess just goes by Doom now. What's up? Long time no see indeed. Nice to see you back in the chat. But yeah, moving on with the news.
So this is a picture from my buddy actually sent me, my friend Ryan. He was at a Walmart near my hometown, and they had this drop pod here, and I didn't include them, but they have funny nicknames for each of them. Let's see if I can bring it up here. But
really?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that, especially like. Go ahead, sorry.
Was it their like code names or?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it here. So I think the clone commando was called Beautitude, which I love. I think that's hilarious. And Fives was called Lynn.
Yeah,
and,
that was his code name. Yep.
And Hunter was Quick.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I thought it was funny because the clone commando is one of my favorite figures ever, and it was called Beautitude. I didn't even know that was a word.
That is the first time I'm hearing it. So, but yeah, pretty cool. These are hitting Walmarts now, so if you're looking for these figures, go look for your end cap shipper thingies, and might get all of Bad Batch Season 2, Fives, and Jesse.
And they have been popping back up online too.
Yeah,
I think I've seen all of them come back at one point. I almost snagged another Fives, but I had it in my cart, and by the time I went to check out, they were already gone.
Ah, that's too bad. But I know I've heard a lot of people struggling to find when Fives is in stock, but Walmart normally puts it in and out pretty like regularly, so just gotta keep checking. But
this is from my local Target. They finally did the reset. They have an end cap that's kind of like a collectors and exclusives thing. And they had the Dual Zen Vader and the is it Apo or Oppo?
is
it either?
I want to say it's Oppo.
Oppo? Okay.
Oppo.
The 501st clone trooper that has his chin sticking underneath his helmet.
It's not that bad. Can't even see it. I don't see a
Yeah,
chin.
when
Do
you
you
hold it down.
do you see a chin? I don't see a chin. I can't even do it right now, but I don't see a chin from here. Okay, well, obviously you're gonna show the chin when you tilt it up, too. Potato, you can't go both ways.
I still see it.
Oh my gosh.
So that was kind of a neat thing. The Tusken Warrior and the Luke Grogu set, I thought I don't know. That is a little overpriced for me. I get
For TVC, it is, yeah.
Yeah, and
Is it $27.99
$27.99
for TVC?
And I can't remember. I think it was a Marvel Legends figure. My buddy was down on his way to LA, and he stopped in at a Target, and they had a Marvel Legends exclusive. I think it was the Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Those are $27.99 at
Really?
most of the stores, but in kind of the higher end areas, I think he said it was like $36.49.
Oh my god! Is that the newer one there? Like the
Yeah, it's like it's got the pinless joints, and it's got, I think, 3 different head sculpts. Got a ton of different accessories and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really neat, neat looking. But I just, so I would imagine that these at a store like that, like I don't know if you've ever been to a Target City.
yeah.
Where they're like smaller and they have like half of an aisle for toys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would be probably $35-$40. Hello.
What's up, Master Razzie? Nice to see you in the chat. We also got Thunder Prime.
Hello.
But yeah, so these ones are also hitting stores, so if you're interested, go check your Targets. I already have both of my reviews up for these guys. I'll have to go over them in recent pickups here too in a second. But yeah, love both of the figures. They're definitely in like my top 5 of the year, no, without a question. So
I agree, except for the chin.
There's no chin.
Hey, look at this thumbnail.
I mean, whoever made that thumbnail, they should be like a professional thumbnail makist.
Whoever had the idea to steal that thumbnail and use it for this live stream must be a genius.
Give me a second.
I'm not trying to kill you, bro.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I apologize. But yeah, we have the Holocron collection. Interesting name, or Holocomm collection. Yeah. I thought it was going to be the hologram line or whatever, but I guess Holocomm sounds better with collection.
It's probably just so they could trademark it. Probably.
But it's what did you think of this? Because I really liked it.
Now, didn't Yakface or somebody post a rumor about this like a year ago or year and a half ago or something?
Yeah,
it just never happened. So I was kind of like,
it was about a year ago. That F-22 right there.
That's that rattled the house.
So I could hear
it. They did this during Revenge of the Sith. They had a whole subline. And it was like each store got an exclusive. They had, Grievous and Sidious and the different Jedi. They ended up putting some of them in the main line, and I always thought it was kind of neat. One of my favorites was Cody. It was awesome because it was the exact same Cody figure. I think it had a removable helmet and everything too. Could be wrong on that, but I have to double check. If they did, I hope that the line continues because I would love for them to do figures like that. I would love a Cody. I would love a Vader. Sidious, I think, would be awesome, especially now that they're getting the kind of the
clear robes. Cloak.
Yeah, they could do like a soft goods robe and make it look decent, especially with the light up feature. So I'm going to be honest. I'm not really excited about any of the initial offerings, but I'm excited for them to be successful. I'm hoping that they'll be successful so that they will make other figures down the line. Because they could do any figure that they have an existing mold from, and they're cheaper to make because there's no paint tabs at all. And yeah, I mean, it'd be neat to have like a little subset. I don't think it's anything that I would, if I would leave in the package. Like they seem to be designed to be opened up and displayed.
Yeah, I agree.
I would prefer them to be open and displayed. But yeah, if I were to get any of them, I would get the Mando.
Hmm.
But I don't know. What do you think? Are you gonna get any?
Yeah, so I actually pre-ordered the Mando. He was, I mean, $35 was rough, but I mean, I just figured it's worth it to see how it is, to
Mhm,
like test it out, how the light up feature is, everything like that.
mhm.
You know, if it sucks, then I won't buy anymore. But I really liked how this was executed. Like whenever they said hologram line, we all just kind of assumed they were going to be translucent figures,
Right.
and I mean, essentially they are translucent figures, but they made them worth getting, I guess, with that light up base.
Mhm.
It just makes sense, you know. I it's one of those where if it didn't have the base, obviously it would
For a
just wouldn't
second,
be. Say what?
I said I lost you for a second. Hello, you're
Oh, did
back.
you really?
Yeah,
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Did you guys lose me in the chat too, or
Maybe it was just on my end.
it could have been? Anyway, what I was saying was like if it didn't have the light up base, it just wouldn't be worth. It wouldn't be worth it, you know. It's just a stupid, clear, translucent line that's obviously a cash grab, and obviously this is a cash grab.
Right.
But the light up base somewhat makes it worth getting, I guess. I don't know. I just think it's a really cool idea. It surprised me, and I'd love to see what they do in the future with this. Like I just think for wave 1, the the choices were weird. Like Bo-Katan, Axe Wolves, like a random Han Solo figure in there too.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. Like I understood the theme that they were going with the Mandalorians,
Mhm.
but then you throw in Han Solo too, and that one just felt like it was out of nowhere.
I wonder if the intention was that they're all supposed to be they're all supposed to have bounties. So maybe that's what they're going for, and then maybe that'd be interesting to me. Like if the theme for this set is that they have bounties on their heads,
Hmm.
and then do other waves where it's like, you know, they're just holograms for communication. So you could do, you know, the Princess Leia from A New Hope, and you could do Luke from beginning of Return of the Jedi. You could do the different versions,
Hmm.
and then maybe they change the base
I
slightly
was
to
actually just gonna say that,
go
cause,
for it.
cause so for this base, it's supposed to be a bounty puck, is what it's
Mhm.
supposed to be from Mandalorian, and I did translate the little thing there that's on it. It says
Oh, really?
it translates to wanted, and then the price of the bounty
Oh, cool.
is what it translates to, and then each
Okay.
one has a different price. I think Ahsoka was the highest priced bounty. Um, but yeah, they're bounty pucks, which I think it fits Mando's theme perfectly. Now, does that fit Han Solo? I don't really know. I mean, I guess I understand. Yeah, I mean, I guess it fits Han Solo, but I feel like if they strictly stay to the wanted bounty thing,
Mhm.
it's not a line that'll last very long. But I want to see them switch to like the little like Jedi or clone communicator thing
Mhm.
that has, it's like the circle with like the three little like
I
notch
was
things that are coming out of it. I don't know
I
what
was
to.
I was wondering if I was remembering that right as being the
Yeah, and
hollow
if you say you throw Cody on that or the Emperor on that, or there's so many options you could do. You could do Newt Gunray for all I care because he was a hologram in Phantom Menace, you know, or he might have been. I don't know. It's been a while, but there's so many options you can do, and it's the base that sells it. So as long as you come up with a cool base, it's worth it. But you can't do a Commander Cody with the wanted base. I think that's stupid, and I don't know if I would pick it up. So just my thoughts.
Thunder Prime wants a Rex, which yes, absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, Rex would be great. I think Commander Vaughn would be cool too. If you're going with like a season 7 of Clone Wars theme,
Okay.
there's a lot you could do. But yeah, I mean, I think overall it's a cool line, and I love the packaging for this.
It's cool.
The the hologram like mural artwork is genius, and then the slight red wanted and the price is
Mhm.
just beautiful splash of color there, which looks great.
They'll definitely pop.
Yeah.
Uh, I are any I know they're fan channel exclusives, but are any supposed to be at retail? Walmart.
There was, I believe, Ahsoka was Walmart, and I want to say Bo-Katan was Target.
Okay.
So those ones should hit retail. All the other ones, I believe, are online only.
Okay.
I guess Mando might be a Disney store exclusive too, which means he might show up in the Disney stores too, if anybody has a Disney store by them. But
And is Mando fan channel also, or is it
Mando is Pulse Disney shared.
Okay.
I think the only fan channel one was Han, if I remember correctly.
And that was weird because I don't know if it's changed, but somebody posted that when it originally came up, it was only $27.99.
I did see that. I don't know. It was only on like one site though. That I don't remember what site it was, but it was cheaper on that one site. I don't know if they ever corrected it or not though. But
well, we'll have to see.
But yeah, I love this line. Let me know what you guys think of it. But I really like it, and I'd love to see them switch it up. But again, I think it comes down to if they do a wave 2 of this, and they don't switch out the puck for a different base. Like, I think it's even stretching it with the Ahsoka. Like, I understand Ahsoka's probably has a bounty on her head for being a Jedi, right? I think obviously that makes sense, but it doesn't fit the theme like Mando does or Han Solo does, you know?
True.
So,
I don't think the plastic will break Thunder Prime. 80s kid wants a Palpatine, and James saying that, so it was $27.99 on Entertainment Earth.
mm-hmm.
I'll have to go check.
I will say though, if you look at the actual pucks here, you can see the LEDs through that base, and those look like the little squares there on the inside. Those are the LEDs, and those LEDs are going to be bright, just judging by what they look like. Somebody who's messed with LEDs before.
And that would be awesome because a little bit before your time, but at the very first light up figures that they came out with in the Power of the Force 2 line was, I think, called Power Effects.
Mm-hmm.
And they had light up lightsabers, but they were molded into their hands.
That sounds about right.
And had I had the idea that we would be talking about this, I would have gotten some pictures, but they were atrocious.
Yeah,
they made the chests and the backs like extra thick because they had to fit
the batteries and stuff in
there.
there.
I think it took like 2 double A's, so like a 3-inch figure. Yeah, it was gnarly. So we've come a long way.
Yeah, I think this one, it's a 3 AAA. It says right on the front of the box, and it says batteries not included.
But still, the LEDs like that, I think you're right. It's gonna be not use too much power, and it's gonna bring out a ton of light.
Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that. We'll see. But
what'd you get, buddy?
Pick up Nest Monster. So I wasn't expecting to be here for this, so we obviously did put it on the slides, but we can actually do this for right now. Let's do this. We got the Jabba the Hutt set, so I am so excited for the set. Been wanting this one for the longest time.
That's awesome.
So, and obviously, this one is the like San Diego Comic-Con version with the Deus base thing here, and the Salacious Crumb, which I know like we were kind of freaking out about because he was obviously going to be one of the Rancor tiers, and then when he got canceled for the Rancor, everybody's like, well, you're not going to be able to get him anymore because he's exclusive, which I believe he was also released in a Shop Disney set since then. But really excited to get this, and now I need to 3D print a Jabba's Palace display because it'd be cool. Awesome. I think my biggest problem is I don't have... I want my display to be as complete as possible, and so I want to try to fit as many characters in there. You want the Jedi Knight Luke, you want the Skiff Guard Lando, you want all those characters, and so I already have the Bouche Leia, so I think I was going to put Bouche Leia with the Chewbacca with like the chain and the collar, but I think the one character I'm missing is an Ula, and they're never gonna make an Ula. So
You're just gonna have to make an Ula.
1 second, gosh.
I just have to
I
not make jokes.
I know, dude.
Every time I make
It's
a
when I
joke, you
it's when I
die.
laugh. It's when I laugh. I can't help it. I can't be happy.
I'll be serious from now on.
I'm Batman. Okay.
I'm Batman.
I'm
I'm working on my
vengeance.
Cartman voice so I can finally do it.
I want to hear the Cartman voice.
It's not good right now.
Oh, so I shouldn't put you on the spot. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I won't.
Hang on, I can try it, but I gotta practice a little bit more because I haven't done it in a while. But
That's actually really good.
and my voice is a little raspy. But anyway, I'll keep working on it and I'll get back to you.
Okay, so I expect you to be able to sing the entire oh my gosh, what's the song that he sings?
which one? The one from the movie, which has a lot of bad words in it. And I
No,
can't
no, it was the cover he did of like the Katy Perry
Bad
song.
Romance?
Is that what it is? I don't
Lady
know.
Gaga? Bad Romance?
Oh, the Lady Gaga one, yeah. I expect you to be able to sing that in the Cartman voice by next Friday.
Years ago, I did that when my roommate at the time had a rock band, the Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah,
big thing, and I sang that song, and it devastated my voice, but I did it.
I can believe it.
That was about 15 years ago, though.
Yeah. As far as other recent pickups go, obviously we have the Commander Oppo figure. No chin picking out.
I don't know. I think maybe you just like shaved yours off.
No, there is still a chin there.
Okay. Well, then you're just better at
I'm just
posing your figures. It's really not that bad.
No chin. Okay. Sorry.
There was a little bit of chin.
Nuh-uh. But yeah, I absolutely love that figure. One of my favorites. It's honestly, it might be my favorite clone of all time. It might beat out Captain Rex and Fives.
Wow.
It's really good, and I love it. And I'm conflicted that I love it so much. But
You're about to start a scandal in the chats.
I know. But see, I'm upset that I released my worst to first clone troopers for this year already, because that one would have been like number 2 behind Rex. And now I have to wait till next year to put it on the list, unless if I make like a new one. But you know, it took me like 25 hours to make, and it's not worth making another one for another year.
May I offer a mild criticism about Oppo?
No. Yeah, go for it.
I have mine here with my spoiler, with my other my recent
yeah.
finds. And see, it looks great on camera, but when you look at them in person, the blues don't match. Whoa! Sorry. That was a sonic boom right over the house.
That's cool. Here, I'll make you the big one there. But yeah, I mean, I will counter you this though. Compare Fives to the Archive 501st.
Are you saying it's similar or it's off?
The new blue on Oppo is 10 times better than the blue on the Archive 501st.
All right.
We got my boy McNally here. What's up, Will? Nice to see you in the chat. Will's my boy. Will's my boy. What's up, Will?
Hello, Luke's boy.
Yeah. But yeah, the blue on the new one is so much better. So.
Okay. I do like it a lot. I actually wasn't going to get it, and then you talked me into it, as most of my purchases of late have been. And I am impressed. I know I'm giving you a bad time about the chin thing, but
I know. I'm just messing with you about it. I don't actually care that much. So.
The articulation. See, I am in possession of some of the custom figures from AliExpress.
Hmm.
The Phase 2 basic white clone trooper, I I like it a lot. I think it's amazing. Um, I wasn't planning on getting any of these because I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm good on clones. But then you sold me on it, and I do like the overlay. And I think it actually will be great for customizing
Hmm.
because I do a lot of customizing with synthetic dyes, like dye meant for synthetic clothes. But if you
Hmm.
do it right, you can actually dye the plastic of kind of the softer plastic. So the problem, like I did a couple of clones that turned out okay for
Yeah,
the
I'll put you up there
uh,
again.
the ones I did for your Lucas troopers.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
they're down there.
the problem with trying to do those was the torsos were solid
Hmm.
plastic,
Yeah.
and so the dye doesn't take to that hard plastic, not solid plastic. Um, so I think these and the phase 2 basic white one coming out will be perfect for that because all of the parts that you would really want to customize are that softer plastic. So the helmet, uh, the the different panels and everything. The only thing that would be that the plastic that wouldn't take the dye would be the lower torso and kind of the crotch area.
Yeah.
But you could paint that. That works better for paint anyway because there's no points of articulation
Hmm.
there, so it's less likely that the paint will rub off.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that I think about.
It's funny every time.
Is it?
It is funny every time.
Okay,
Okay, I do have two more recent pickups.
go for it.
Another one of my favorite figures of all time. Dual Zen Vader. This thing is incredible. It's awesome.
I, I, I again, I feel like I say this all the time. That's why I'm stopping myself. Wasn't planning on getting it. I the Empire Strikes Back Vader was kind of my definitive Vader, and it still is. I mean, it's solid.
Hmm.
The 40th Vader looks great. I was able to get the helmet to kind of fit on there, but it's really meant to have the helmet off. Um, my deterrent for getting the dual's end was it's just like one specific moment.
Hmm.
But then I kept like I watched that scene a few times, and just that kind of like haunting moment, especially like when he screams out Obi-Wan and the
Yeah.
voice kind of like modulates. I was like, okay, pull the trigger, get this figure, and then it's amazing. Like when you
Yeah.
look at it closely, there's a picture of it in the slides, but um, it it looks like
I don't want to go too far. Okay.
that's fine. You can actually run through those, and then I can explain what. But
Okay.
It's like a little person inside. Like it looks like a little real person. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's just it's insane, and this gives me hope for the future of Black Series. I think that they've hit their stride. It's taken them a few years. They had some really good figures early on, but a lot of the figures kind of fell short in certain ways, and they seem to do well as long as it was a helmeted or masked figure. But when it came to human faces, they wasn't good. Um, they've slowly gotten better. I think that the some of the Last Jedi figures, and then towards the Rise of Skywalker figures, the one or two that they made, um, uh, they started getting better. Now I think with the pinless joints and kind of the hidden articulation, they've really hit their stride, and this
Hmm.
just gets me excited for like what they're going to do next year. Like I don't think that with all of the technology that they've put in these recent figures, especially this year,
Mhm.
I don't want to jinx it, but I don't think that they're gonna make a bad figure. If they make a brand new sculpt,
Mhm.
they've got everything dialed to make it look good. You
And
know,
I agree. Yeah.
going back to when they did the double jointed knees, some of the figures looked okay with the double jointed knees. Some of them looked okay as long as you only moved one of the joints.
Mhm.
Some of them, as soon as you tried to articulate the knee, it just looked horrible. So I think they've really gotten this great blend. And with one of my other recent pickups, you'll see is the Malgus.
Mhm.
That's like nearly a perfect figure to me. Like it again, it looks just like a little person, and you can't see the articulation. You could photograph that and pass it off as a real character. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of videos where people will reference characters from Star Wars, and they can't get uh, good enough stills from the actual IP, so
Yeah.
they'll use still photos from like the Hot Toys,
Yeah.
and they almost look like
Mhm.
real people,
I've
even
done
if
that. I've done that before in my
yeah.
videos. So
And I think you're going to start seeing Hasbro up to that quality where you could photograph it and have it look like a real person.
mhm.
Good.
I was gonna say I have one more recent pickup, and then I do have a quick idea too.
Okay.
I'll go over the quick idea first, why it's in my mind. So obviously with like the Oppo figure here,
Mhm.
like ignoring the legs, and I guess the abdomen area here, most of this figure is like overlay, like helmet, shoulder pad, chest, elbow pads, knee pads, belt. There's a few pieces here and there that obviously are not overlay, but I mean, I think that you could easily make customs, or you could. What I'd love to see is Hasbro do an official one, but of figures where like it has the cloth undersuit and all the armor pieces are individual overlays.
Whoa.
I would love to see that. Even like honestly, I might try to do a custom of that myself at some point, but that would be really cool. And just messing with like the Hot Toys figures, because I have the Hot Toys 501st. You can't really see him. He's back here, like behind half my Vaders that are sitting there. But yeah, I'd love to see like a 6-inch scale version of that. And
Man, you just kind of blew my mind right now. That's doable. I mean, they
that's what
do
I'm
that
saying.
with the Mezco 112th collective figures. That was
Yeah,
their
the Spider-Man ones with like those are cool.
yeah. Their goal was they wanted to make Hot Toys figures, but at a 6-inch scale. And oh man, I think you're onto something, bro. That'd be cool.
Even if it's just like a custom that I made myself, I'd love to do it. Like, I think the problem is obviously the legs and the abdomen area here, because these are part of the mold. I think what
Right.
you'd have to do is you would have to get like a base body underneath that has the undersuit on it.
Right.
And so then you could use a lot of these pieces like the helmet, shoulder pad, elbow pads, belt, knee pad, stuff like that. But I think you'd have to get like custom resin printed like abdomen piece, crotch piece, thighs, and ankles for it.
Well, if this were something that Hasbro decided to go into production on, you don't need a full bodysuit. Like you could do like a top portion that's just the chest and arms that gets stitched together, and when you plug it into the ab articulation, it kind of holds it in place, and then you could do a piece for each of the legs. So you
That
would
is
have
true.
the cloth points and the cloth would kind of hide the articulation in the hips too, dude.
That'd be cool.
Well, I think maybe you should get a job at Hasbro.
I'll try my best. Do do you want to move into your recent pickups?
Yeah.
Did you want this? Did you want the slideshow or did?
Just run through the. I took pictures because it's every time I go like this. That's not bad this time, but before I had the lights, it looked kind of bad. So we can just run through them and all. So the saga continues with my my warehouse deal. So they had Malgus up $24.90. And I decided to get it. And the next slide are the two figures that I actually received.
Oh my gosh!
A Tython Boba Fett without the cloak, and a Power Ranger with.
It's like Captain Phasma.
Captain Phasma's cape. They even put the wrapper for his lightsaber back in there, but they put both parts too, so they at least they were courteous. But yeah, so then I went ahead and I sent those back. There's
oh my
I don't even know what that is.
That is a custom clone head, is what that is.
Is it totally custom, or is it just like a repainted Django head? I couldn't tell.
I mean, my best guess is maybe it's a like 2020 Stormtrooper head.
Maybe
that's painted. If not, then it's custom because. Oh
anyway,
my gosh!
I have a cropped version of this image. So sometime at like 3:00 in the morning, I'm just gonna send you that image.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just scary. Okay, so go ahead on to the next one. So yeah, so this is the Malgus. Look at that, man.
That is awesome.
It's so cool. It does pop up. Do you want it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just love how long the lightsaber blade looks in this photo with how it's towards the camera. It makes it look really, really long.
It's like just like in the Balin pictures.
Yeah, that's. Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, so like I got the Vader helmet. I got these the same day when I took the picture. So I got the Vader helmet to look pretty good. I've never been able to repeat it. I got it locked in, looks solid, and then I bumped it and it popped off, and I've never been able to get it back. So anyway,
I could never get it to lock in once. So
I'll try and get some better pictures of it. It's hard because
there's like the grooves on the inside of the
and it's almost like one side actually interlocks and the other side
as soon as you lock one side, you try to lock the second one, the other one just pops right back out.
Yeah,
I think the problem is they use too soft of a plastic, and so rather than clicking in, it'll just bend right out. And
I think the other thing is that if you raise the collar a little bit, you can kind of sink the head down, and you can put the mask part on. But the kind of the weight of the collar ends up drifting, and then the top of the head pushes the mask back up. So maybe I should try putting something underneath the collar to like keep it pushed up, and maybe
even with the collar pushed up, I couldn't get the helmet to connect. Maybe I just got a defective model, but
reading some of the comments. Oh yes,
it's very true.
So I went into my Walmart, and they didn't get the little end cap things, but this was in the clearance section. So I bought
on clearance. Casually flexing your 2 Starkiller sets in the background.
Yeah, that was what I sent you this picture, and I was like, oh, did you notice what was going on in the background?
I didn't even notice. No. This is the first I'm noticing of it, but yeah, that 5s for $20 is crazy.
It's almost retail price.
I mean, it would have been what in 2019.
Or yeah, true. It's crazy.
Sorry, my light on here, my like blue and pink light, just like fell in the back.
Is it okay? It's not
I
gonna,
mean,
it's not gonna get hot or anything, is it?
No, it's not. It doesn't get hot, but it just the sticky tape on it does not want to stick.
Oh, okay.
Not for long periods of time. So, but
Do I have
just
anything else?
it just fell even more. I just keep hearing it slowly. The tape just slowly fall off the wall. But yeah, ready to jump into. We have like 3 episodes to talk about, or 2 episodes. So.
Did we talk about episode 6? I think we
did. Yeah, we talked about episode 6. But we haven't talked about 7 though.
Okay.
So.
You start talking. I will
Okay.
be right back in just 1 second.
Okay.
And then we will do this.
Sounds good. So, episode 7 of Ahsoka. Obviously, we got to actually see a lot of Ezra, which was really nice, and it was nice to see Ezra back. I know some people were kind of upset, like he turned down taking the lightsaber from Sabine, but I think that is exactly what Ezra would have done. I think that is perfect for Ezra's personality. So I really liked that detail. I don't think the bright blue eyes work. It looks really weird, but it is nice to see Ezra back. As far as episode 7 as a whole, episode 7 was a weird one. I didn't really understand the whole like Balin and Shin kind of separating, going different ways. Like I understand, like he like kind of sent Shin off to be like with the Empire, and then she didn't even join the Empire. So we'll talk about that with David here. But I was just kind of talking about Ezra coming back. What were your thoughts on episode 7?
Let me start with a question for you. Would you like my criticisms to be? Give me a scale on 1 to 10.
I mean, if it's criticism, I want to hear it. So 10.
Here we go.
We got to get into a discussion. I mean,
well, I think I know we've talked about this before. There are things about this show that are very much set up for you and the people that grew up watching Rebels, watching the Clone Wars, and so there's the payoff for you is seeing these things in live action, seeing Ezra and Sabine meet up after so many years, and so there's like some nostalgia goggles going on, which I think is awesome. I don't have that nostalgia connected to it, so I think about it purely from what I'm being presented with, and I think what we talked about before. There's a lot of things about this show where they're like, we want Sabine and Ezra to meet up, and it's going to be a big moment. So they have that moment, but then the context surrounding it, leading up to it, and the stuff that happens after, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. We start the series with Sabine pining over Ezra. Right? Maybe she's in love with him, maybe she's not, but she's watching that hologram of him a lot. And she threatens or potentially leads to a threat for the entire galaxy because of her drive to get him back. And then when she meets up with him, she's like, "Hey, how's it going? Missed you." Like
did you want them just to start like making out right there? Like I don't know what else. I don't know.
Not necessarily, but I mean there should be like some sort of an emotional response. Her her attitudes at the beginning of the show need to have a payoff. So, I mean, had her attitude at the beginning maybe been that she was angry at Ezra because he sacrificed himself and left, and she is like, oh, he ditched us. You know, I know it was for the greater good, but he ditched us. Then that would make more sense, where she's like, hey, I came to rescue you. Like, and she's angry about it, you know?
When was she ever angry about it? She gave him a hug.
But it was, I mean, dude, when you haven't seen someone in a long time, someone that you really care about, are you just like, what's up?
I mean, they hugged. I don't know what else. I mean, I'm not much of a hugger. So I mean, if it's been a few years, I might give someone a hug. You know,
when we meet up in person for the first time, you're gonna be like, so
that was my plan. Yep. I'm actually gonna write that out right now. I'm gonna script out exactly what I'm gonna do, and it's not gonna make you happy. It'll be like a. What's up?
Well, all right.
I mean, I mean, I don't know.
At least I'm expecting it now.
I think that I didn't have a problem. I'm sorry.
But no, I get what you're gonna say when you're done coughing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I thought their reunion was good. I mean, I thought it was emotional. I thought it was exactly how their characters would have handled it. And I think maybe you just need to go and watch Rebels, and it would change your mind. I know I've given you a hard time about it.
Cartoon.
Cartoons are awesome.
Just kidding.
Rick and Morty's a cartoon.
Oh, it's coming back. I'm excited.
I know. Sunday. I'm excited. I don't have HBO Max, and so I always have to go to the Adult Swim website because they post them there like 2 weeks after they air.
Okay. Well,
so I'm always 2 weeks behind.
They should. There's ways. There'll be ways to.
Normally people post the full episodes on TikTok before they're available for me to watch. So normally I just watch it through TikTok.
Those are the ways.
Literally every new episode of South Park. But anyway, that was a tangent of its own. But
yeah, I that's the thing, is like I skate this line where I see the scenes that they wanted, and I see where they were going. We'll get into it when we get it, especially when we get into episode 8. But it's like they wrote the scene that they wanted and didn't think about how they needed to get there, and that can be a huge problem. Yeah, so Dusty Trooper says if she had some tears, maybe it would. It also
I mean, but you gotta realize that Sabine is not a very emotional person.
Okay.
That is her character. I know I'm getting emotional about this, but I mean it's just a discussion, of course. But
maybe you will have some tears.
Maybe I will. But I mean, but yeah, she's not a very emotional person. I think that she handled that exactly how her character in Rebels would have handled that, and I that's just my thought.
Maybe that. Okay, I'll give you that. But when he asks her how she got there, and she's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I know that pisses me off. It's really frustrating. But again, I think that's exactly how she would have handled it in the TV show. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't make it any less like annoying and frustrating. But that is exactly how she would have handled it.
Can we talk about the lightsaber?
Oh, I talked about that briefly. Again, I know I sound like a broken record at this point. That is exactly what Ezra would have done.
Okay.
In this situation, because obviously Sabine needs to defend herself, and so he who uses the Force, he is gonna. I mean, obviously, and plus he's been 5-6 years away on his own now, maybe more than that.
I think it was
only
supposed to be close to 10, isn't it?
It might be. But but of only using the Force. Like, he hasn't used a lightsaber in that long. And so at this point, he probably trusts his skills with the Force more than he does with a lightsaber.
Okay.
But go for it. Go for it.
No. I will concede that point. But in the very next episode, he's building a new lightsaber.
Yeah, because he's got to fight Thrawn.
But that doesn't. So he won't use a lightsaber to defend the people that he cares about, these creatures that he lives amongst and like kind of oversees and helps them. He won't do that, or to defend Sabine, but he will in the next episode. Like those types of things.
Because Sabine can defend herself.
Here's
women power, powerful women.
Here's the fix. All it would have taken was one line of dialogue. Okay, So this scene happens. Sabine goes to hand Ezra the lightsaber. He grabs a hold of it and turns it on, and he's like, "What did you do to this? I can't use this because she's made modifications to it." And he gives it back to her. That's it. Then we're done.
I think that's stupid.
Well,
that was a little blunt, but I'm sorry.
You're gonna hate my book.
No, okay. For starters, though, I'm on the bandwagon that thinks that Sabine didn't make modifications to it. I just think that's the translation from animated to realistic, kind of like how the Darksaber.
Didn't somebody reference that she made modifications to it? Either Ahsoka or Huyang?
I could be wrong. You might have picked it up more than I did, but I was kind of under the impression that was just like a translation from animated to realistic.
I think.
But
somebody says that it's Ezra's lightsaber. Maybe Sabine says it's Ezra's lightsaber, and then somebody responds, "You made modifications to it." I think it might be Huyang. So it's yours now. There's a little piece of dialogue, so that makes sense.
Roughly, I remember that, but anyway,
Big Bendu says Huyang said it.
Yeah. It could have been, but yeah, I think it's one of those where this story it's not just about getting Ezra back, it's about Sabine's journey to becoming a Jedi too, and so I think it's more significant for her to use the lightsaber in this scene than it is for Ezra.
Right, it is, because that's the scene that they wanted. They wanted her to they wanted her to have the lightsaber to be able to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But the logic of getting there is wonky. So like that's what I'm talking about. Is they want those moments. Sabine uses the lightsaber, and then she ends up squaring off with Shin again, and then Ahsoka shows up. And did I send you the meme about the Ahsoka?
No, I don't think so.
It's like when you're trying to get a cat to come over to you.
Oh,
so it has Ahsoka with her arms out, and she's like, and then Shin walks away, and she's like, "Oh, maybe next time it'll work."
That's funny.
But yeah, so there are cool moments. I forgot what other slides we have. I didn't put a whole lot of slides for episode 7 because I was focusing on Ezra using the Force and then building a lightsaber in the next episode.
I thought him building that lightsaber was awesome. Just awesome.
Okay. Yes. With the nostalgia goggles, it's awesome. Huyang's story about how Kanan, which how does he know that his name was Kanan and also Caleb? Like, wouldn't he just call him Caleb because that's what he knew him as?
He did call him Caleb.
He did, but he said Kanan first. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Because Ezra referred to him as Kanan.
But how would he know?
Because Ezra referred to him as Kanan first.
But how would he know that they're the same person?
Because he's a smart robot that's been alive for like 500 million years.
Okay. Well, so
I don't know.
He has the only 2 emitters that. Oh, I kept this in case Caleb ever needed it again in the future. But he's dead now, so you can. It just. I get it. I get it. It's the nostalgia thing, and maybe had I had I experienced that when I was younger, or had it been so impactful on me, like it obviously was for you, that I would have let it go. It's kind of like the clunky dialogue in the prequel trilogy. When you watch any reviews or read any reviews from the prequel movies,
Mm-hmm.
and they got dumped on
Yeah.
for those exact reasons. But I'm like, oh, I know what they're talking about, and so like I was super into it. Anyway, it's neat to have a scene where he rebuilds a lightsaber. It makes me upset that he completely forgot his code of ethics from the last episode, but I won't belabor that anymore.
Okay. See, but the difference is he can make a new lightsaber. He's not just like just giving up on a lightsaber forever. Like he has the option to build his own now. Why?
But then why? Okay, so if in the event that we meet up and you give me the finger guns and say hello, if we were in an emergency situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed you to drive me to the hospital, and there's
Okay.
a car right there with the keys in it that's running, and I'm like, I need you to get me to the hospital right now. Would you ever think, I can't drive this car? Like I'm
Stealing somebody's car? No, I wouldn't steal someone's car.
The person gives you permission. Sabine is there, and she's like, "Here, take my car." No, I can't take that car. That's your car. I'm not insured.
Me personally, I would call 911 first. But if somebody gave me permission to drive the car and 911 was too far out, it would take too long, then yeah, I would consider driving the car.
That's the
but I don't understand what your point is with that.
That's the finger guns version of.
But no, okay. But what did I miss? Like where that connected?
With which
because you said if somebody's car, if Sabine was there,
because the analogy. So yeah, because Ezra, they were in a dire situation,
mm-hmm.
and the path of least resistance to solving that dire situation would have been to pick up a weapon to use to defend the people that you care about. But he didn't do that, and then he's not that good with the Force. He gets kind of knocked around. So then he picked up a blaster immediately after. I forgot. Oh, I should have put a picture of the blaster.
Okay, but you're looking at it like Ezra is the only person there. Sabine is there too, and she's trained with a lightsaber.
So with that logic, with that argument, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna take out the bad guys, but we need to do it evenly. So 1 for 1, like it just just solve the problem. I mean, if Sabine hands me the keys to the car, I'm driving you to the hospital because that's gonna solve the problem. I'm not gonna call 911 and wait for you to bleed out like you obviously would for me.
Oh my gosh. But we're so stuck on this lightsaber for no reason at all.
It's because it's fun to talk about. We don't.
It is fun to talk about. It's fun to discuss. But I mean, I just think it's one of those things where that's what Ezra would do. I mean, he's been training with the Force for 10 years now on his own without a lightsaber. He hasn't swung a lightsaber around in 10 years,
But then maybe that is the point. Is like maybe he's embarrassed and he doesn't want to look foolish. And
hear me out. Or maybe you said, defending Sabine and defending the group of hermit crab people there. But maybe he thinks that the best way to defend Sabine is let her have the saber and have her defend herself.
Okay. So you have multiple weapons. You have the weapons that you can use, and I'm going to leave you with an extra weapon that you can have clipped to your belt and not use just so that you can have it for a later scene. Like with that logic, like there are weapons to be used to solve the problem, and it doesn't make sense to me that he would not do it unless maybe they have that added beat where he's like, I don't remember how to use a lightsaber. And that would be great if in the next episode when he builds a lightsaber, maybe he turns it on and it goes into the bulkhead because he's not used to it, and they make a joke about it, like, and oh man, that could get into like there's that would have been funny. It would have been an interesting beat, but it's just like they shot this on the outline instead of writing a script, which I know is like a harsh criticism. But
let's
what it kind of seems like.
let's be real here. We all know the real reason that Ezra let Sabine keep the saber is so that they could sell little girls lightsabers, toy lightsabers. That is the only reason. I think that's safe to say.
Probably.
But I'm still fine with their reasoning for doing so. I think that's exactly how Ezra would have handled it. Is my thoughts. So
you would know better than I, so I will defer to your expertise.
Okay. But yeah, okay. But about Ezra building the lightsaber there,
mm-hmm.
and especially it being like the remake of Kanan's saber, I thought that was really cool. I think he's gonna need a saber to fight Thrawn and bring back to the other galaxy there. So it makes sense. And I mean, we've seen this room before, and so it's not like I know some people are like, what, Hu Yang just has a lightsaber building kit in the ship or whatever. Yeah, we saw that in episode 1. Like, it's not a surprise. And so, I mean, Hu Yang, if you watch the Clone Wars at all, Hu Yang is literally the person who helped younglings build lightsabers.
Right.
So, I thought this scene was perfect. I thought it made perfect sense. It wasn't like reaching that Ezra was able to build a lightsaber here, because I know that's something that some people were stuck on.
I mean, see, that I was totally fine with. I would have bought that ship would have supplies, and that maybe Ahsoka coming upon fallen Jedi or taking out villains that have acquired lightsabers, mm-hmm. that she would collect them. I mean, she has her like little shelf. I was gonna her Deltoff. Is that right? Her little toy collection with all the lightsabers and holocrons and the holograms of Anakin. Mm-hmm. So that it would make sense that they have the supplies to do it. Mm-hmm. It's just the logic of him building a lightsaber after saying that he doesn't need it. That
was for that specific fight, It's limited. He's not just like denouncing all use of a lightsaber for the end of time. It was just specifically for that fight whenever there was only one lightsaber to go around. If it was one of those where if he had a stash of lightsabers in his pockets, like,
that would have been hilarious.
But
whip them out General Grievous style.
Yeah, General Grievous style lightsabers. Like, no, like obviously he would use it, but there's only one lightsaber to go around, and Sabine has it, and he wanted Sabine to use it. It's just my thoughts, and we're back to the lightsaber thing. But,
that's fair. We'll move on to the next slide. Maybe it'll help us.
But as far as like him building the Kanan saber, mm-hmm. I think my only thing was he was specifically looking for that emitter. Like, he knew it was already there, which kind of seemed a little weird to me. Yeah. I think it would have been fine, like if he's like, Hu Yang, do you have any emitters lying around or something? And he hands him, like, this is one from your master. Like, I think that would have worked a little bit better. But it was weird that he was specifically looking for that emitter, and then Hu Yang just happened to, like, have it. Or it just felt weird the way they presented it.
Right.
But I like the idea of it, and I think it's cool. So I think it would have been cooler if it would have been Kanan's actual lightsaber rather than like a remake with the same parts, but
that would be cool. But I actually really like that a lot. Like, if he ends up just stumbling across the completed lightsaber and has like that emotional moment.
Yeah, I think they could have done so much more with it, but
see, now you're on my side.
But I mean, I liked the idea they had, but I
Don't get
gotta
me started on Enoch.
I like I mean I liked Enoch. Give me a second.
Um, yeah.
That's horrible. Mm.
Uh,
I liked Enoch. So is Enoch a zombie trooper or?
I don't know. What's the guy? Is it Wes Chatham? I think that's the guy that plays him. He was on a show called The Expanse,
Mhm.
and I guess he was in one or two of the Hunger Games movies.
Yeah.
He is awesome in The Expanse. I actually think that he should play Batman. He's just this like really cool kind of he in The Expanse his character is a little bit off.
Mhm.
He's like talks really softly, but then he'll like fly off the handle, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. If you haven't seen The Expanse, it's an awesome show.
Okay.
In this, so seeing him in this, I'm like, okay, I give him the benefit of the doubt because I think that the character will be something bigger down the line.
Mhm.
I don't remember any of the other troopers speaking. So that makes me think that maybe he's alive.
Yeah, so I will say, so I do think that there were some alive stormtroopers because there was the scene where Ahsoka and Sabine were fighting the troopers there. I guess it would have been Ezra too. And they died, and then the witches brought them back. So I think,
unless they were already dead and reanimated, and then they reanimated.
but the difference is after they were reanimated though, like they were shooting them and stabbing them with the lightsabers and stuff, and they weren't dying. So if they were already like that, they wouldn't have done that. So
Good point.
But when you look at like the death troopers there who were already like rotten, decaying zombies, I think that's what all those the cargo that Thrawn was trying to get is the bodies of the stormtroopers to build
Do
his
you think
army.
they're fallen troops, or do you think that they are deceased witches of Dathomir?
Either one. I hope they're fallen troops, just because I think obviously Thrawn is coming back with an army to wage a war, and so I would rather him have a army of zombie stormtroopers than zombie night sisters.
But what I'm wondering is if the witches of Dathomir, or the witches that go to Dathomir,
Mm-hmm.
if they are bringing their fallen sisters back,
Mm-hmm.
and that they will end up betraying Thrawn.
I could see
And
that.
their whole thing is that they're doing whatever Thrawn wants because they
They just wanted to get back to Dathomir. I think he just froze there.
it went away.
Oh, there you are. You're
Yeah.
back. Yep, you're back.
So I wonder if the agreement was the witches were going to help Thrawn and the Chimera get back to the other side if he brought them and their deceased witches sisters back with him,
Mm-hmm.
so they could take them to Dathomir and repopulate the planet, take it over,
Yeah.
and then maybe eventually they'll butt heads, and then it'll be Thrawn versus the witches of Dathomir. So in the Heir to the Empire trilogy, there is a dark Jedi named Jorah Sabaoth,
Mm-hmm.
and he teams up. Thrawn seeks him out to team up, and spoiler, at a certain point in the story, they kind of have a falling out,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up sort of working against each other in a way.
Yeah.
I could very much see the adaptation of the Heir to the Empire story being that instead of Jorah Sabaoth, it's these witches that end up presenting themselves as wanting to help Thrawn, and then end up kind of stabbing him in the back,
Yeah.
figuratively, not literally.
Yeah.
Because he gets stabbed in the back by somebody else. Oh, spoilers! Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, I think I liked Enoch or whatever his name is.
Enoch. I like Enoch, and I like
I do too.
the biblical reference. Enoch is, I don't know if you know, it's in an apocryphal text. It's not in the Bible. There was a book called the Book of Enoch. I think
It sounds familiar.
I think he is Noah's grandfather or great grandfather. I'm not too sure. Anyway, story goes that he gets taken to the heavens and taught all of these intellectual things by the angels, and then gets sent back down to Earth to teach it to humanity or to his family.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there will be some sort of connection there, or if they're just like, "Oh, this is a really cool name,
It's a cool name.
plug it in."
That could be. So this kind of just crossed my mind, and I wish I had a photo of it, but I don't think I do. But do you remember, like, a little over a year ago, there was like the leaked photos that a lot of people thought were fake of like the Ahsoka and Maul, and so this just crossed my mind. What if this was filmed for the Anakin flashback? There in episode 5, in the World Between Worlds, there was some kind of alternate thing where she was fighting Maul rather than Anakin or something like that, where it was but it was interesting because Ahsoka was in her Mandalorian outfit and Maul was in his solo outfit,
right?
Which was interesting. But
and
there
it was like
also
a deserty background, wasn't it?
It was like a deserty background, which reminded me of the location they filmed Geonosis there in that Clone Wars flashback. But there was also like different Mandalorians on the ground there, which would line up with that season 7 of Siege of Mandalore. So,
good.
I mean, yeah, I just thought of that, and I'm like, do you think that that makes sense for
the only thing with that image? I mean, it
is you're gonna point out the camera there.
There is that. That's the thing that is, so when that initially came out, one of my colleagues pointed out that that's not the cameras that they use. Like that's like a prosumer camera that you could buy at like Best Buy or Amazon. The cameras that they actually use on the volume are much bigger, big shoulder things. But that's not to say that they didn't have that they were testing the volume, and so maybe they filmed a fight scene just to see what it would be like. Could be that. Could be that they were doing some sort of like still photography. That camera that was on there could have been testing the spatial sensors for the volume. I'm not sure. I don't think that the entire thing is faked. I would love to see that scene, but I don't know.
I will say though, I believe that it's already confirmed that those flashback scenes were filmed on like the soundstage with like the digital wall background and everything.
That's the volume.
So I don't know if that background would have made sense for, because I believe that those leaked photos were from outside, but they were actually.
There is the rumor that episode 5 was supposed to have the Mustafar duel.
Yeah, that was a rumor for a while, which would
have been cool. That it got cut out for time and for Phase's back.
What's up, Phase?
For whatever reasons, I would have loved to see that. That would have been really interesting.
Yeah, I would have loved that. The Mustafar duel is one of my favorites. So,
and to see, not necessarily a multiverse situation, but almost having it be similar to the duel on Dagobah between Luke and Ghost Vader.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be neat, and it would give something that they could sell a 2-pack of action figures. It'd be awesome.
So you're gonna have to explain this photo to me.
Okay, the ending to this sequence is awesome. Where
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of shots are Ezra force pulling a couple of the troops, and then Ahsoka using both her lightsabers to take them out. It was awesome. There are parts of it that are great,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are other parts that, again, they don't make sense. I'm not the only person that's referenced this, but there is there's a couple of shots where Ahsoka is deflecting laser blasts, and she's just kind of like with her lightsaber, literally
Yeah.
just. And I don't know why, when you have cool parts and then you have not so cool parts, it makes the not so cool parts a lot more glaring.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting scene to have the troopers reanimate. I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Hasbro do like you know how they do like the prototype figures.
Mm-hmm.
Target has the prototype retro figures. It'd be cool if they did a Night Trooper figure, but in the prototype style, where if they put random parts together. So you know, you might have a gray helmet, you might have a white helmet that has cracks in it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think that would be really cool, because if you're listening, Hasbro, people would be driven to go out
To buy
the
a bunch of
store
them.
to buy them, and they wouldn't necessarily want to buy them online, because then you're
You don't know which one you're gonna get. Yeah.
You would want to go seek out the one that you wanted, and I think that would be really cool.
That would be
Or
cool.
if they didn't want to do that, have like a 3-pack that comes
Different
with a bunch of
versions.
different parts,
Yeah.
and then you could swap them out and make your own
That would be cool.
Night Trooper. Do like the designs of those, especially with like kind of the gold filigree or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Those kind of cool. Okay, yeah, we can. Spoilers for Knight's sister Morgan Elsbeth.
I thought the sword was weird.
Yeah,
The flaming sword. I mean, I thought it was cool, but I mean, and obviously you have to do something like that so Ahsoka can duel someone. I mean, it makes sense. Now, why couldn't, any other person be there?
why couldn't she just use Sabine's lightsaber? Yeah, the sword kind of came out of nowhere, literally, but it was a cool duel.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a cool duel.
The actress that plays Morgan Elsbeth, I think, did a great job. I thought that duel with her and Ahsoka, I thought Rosario Dawson did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
It does seem kind of weird that the Night Troopers just stand around watching instead of trying to take out the bad guys, but
that one reminds me of like the General Grievous in Episode 3, like the back away, let me handle this Jedi by myself. That kind of.
If they said it.
If they said it, yeah.
Or if they were like, oh no, we could accidentally shoot her, like then that makes sense.
But they're zombies. I feel like they're being controlled. They don't know any better, so yeah.
Or maybe they would just shoot at anything, which would have been great if the duel became. I mean, because Morgan Elsbeth, like, she's a martyr to the cause. When she makes the decision, which that was fine. That was when I finally saw Thrawn be Thrawn, when he's just like, no, go to your death. Like, yeah. Whoa. That was interesting to me. I think that it would have been more interesting, or maybe they'll find a way to make this happen, if Morgan Elsbeth figured out that she was being used, and maybe is like, well, that wasn't cool. Like, what? I worked so hard to get this guy back, and he just like leaves me. Like that's
Yeah.
So if they brought her back, and then you have grounds for her to side with Ahsoka, if they bring her back somehow, if she doesn't die. I saw something earlier where they're like, okay, so Sabine gets stabbed through the torso with a lightsaber and lives, and Morgan Elsbeth gets slashed across the front of her blouse and dies.
Yeah.
Yes, I did Phantom Menace, Dennis. Good call out. Yeah, I think that would have been that could be compelling, and
Yeah.
maybe she ends up being the one that gets back to the other side. She's disillusioned by Thrawn now, and she's the one that takes vengeance. That would be neat. Now I want that to happen. That would be so awesome. Okay, what did you think? Did you, other than the sword, did you?
I thought the duel was good. I think it's one of those where I think I would have liked a Balin or a Shin more.
What did you think? I don't want to talk about it.
I thought it was a good duel. I mean, you had to have that kind of final. Honestly, I thought the whole finale was a little anticlimactic, but I think they're obviously saving a lot of it for future seasons or movies or whatever they want to use it for. But I mean, I feel like it was one of those we got to stop Thrawn from coming back, and then they just never get to Thrawn. Like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, and then to have the even though the dialogue I thought was really interesting of Thrawn on the comms, saying, "Hey, you lost. Good fight, but you lost," and then he bails. Like that was pretty neat. I thought that was a cool moment, but should have been in person. Okay, all right. You talk about this first.
I thought it was interesting. Now I want to know how he got off of the ship without Thrawn noticing. I wish they would have showed that.
Yep. That could have been a whole episode.
I mean, yeah, because Thrawn went to Dathomir, and then he's just suddenly here with the Rebel fleet. Like, I thought that was weird. I don't know where that shuttle came from. It's not Imperial.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice to kind of know how he got there. Now, obviously, they probably ran out of time. It makes sense. I'm not too upset that they didn't. But the whole dramatic, everybody pointing guns at him until he took off his helmet. Like, this reminds me of the scene in the Last Jedi where Snoke's shuttle comes flying into the bunker, and it's Poe and not Poe, it's Finn and Rose on it, right? Yeah, but they're over here like, no, don't shoot, it's us, but Ezra slowly walks down the stairs with the helmet on. I'm like, dude, anybody could have just shot him.
Yeah. That's why I put this picture in here, because
I know that they wanted the cool moment of the big reveal and everybody reacting to it. I get it, but it seemed a little silly to me. I thought it was a cool scene, but it just didn't make any sense.
I agree with you on that. So we talked about this before. I think that if you are trying to escape Thrawn and you are trying to get Big Bendu says the shuttle that he escapes in was Balin's. Interesting. So if you are trying to get back into the hands of your friends, into the good people, you haven't seen them in a decade. They haven't seen you in a decade. And you went from being like a teenager to being a grown man. I would think you would want to do whatever you could to not have them shoot at you, especially if you are in an enemy vehicle, dressed like the enemy, you would want to.
It's the helmet on. Like if he did it without the helmet on, like he slowly walked down the thing dramatically with the helmet off, and Hera had her moment reacting, I would have been fine with it. But the fact that he waited so long to take the helmet off,
Agreed.
is kind of stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, but they wanted that moment, and they didn't think about how to get there.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is like, if he
Well,
came
okay,
from it-
I don't agree with that statement.
all right, go ahead. What do you got?
Just because I think they wanted that moment of Ezra and Hera meeting up again.
Right.
And I think they know how to they got there just fine. I don't think it was the in between that didn't make sense. I thought it was how they did the actual scene of the reveal. I thought was silly. Like,
That's what I'm saying. The logic behind them having that moment doesn't make sense. I think
no, but what you said was it was them getting to that moment that didn't make sense. Where I think it was the actual moment itself that didn't make sense.
we're saying the same thing, brother.
But you're saying it differently.
You just want to be right.
I am right. No, but
the moment is Hera seeing Ezra reacting. There's different ways you could have shot that. Like you said, if he came down the ramp and they show the body coming down and you see it's stormtrooper armor, and so everyone puts their guns out, but then it finally clears and you see it's Ezra, and it takes her a second because she hasn't seen him in a decade, and then she's like, oh, hey, wait a minute.
no, I don't play tennis.
I don't. I would fall down and die. You would still have that moment. The other thing that I was thinking of is if there's an urgency where he has to have the helmet on, it's because he was trying to escape so quickly that he wasn't thinking about it, where they don't trust him. But if that's the case, he lands the ship, he gets, oh, the helmet, oh, he takes it off, and he has the moment, then that would, to me, say that he was still so close in range to Thrawn that they couldn't just send the fleet to go take out Thrawn right there. And why wouldn't they do that? Because he knows where they are. So they maybe should have gone to do that. And then that could have been the big climactic battle of an episode where Thrawn comes back and whatever's in those cases, the troops end up getting revived and they decimate the fleet. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, what's going to happen now?
I think they're saving all that for season 2. Like the season 1 was just a story of how Thrawn got back, and season 2 is going to be Thrawn there.
You're absolutely
or that's going to be in a movie or something. But
I'm just saying they're wrong to do that. Because I don't think they established Thrawn as being a big enough bad. Nice segue to where was Balin in this episode, except for the last 10 seconds of the show.
Yeah, I did not understand that whole Balin Shin splitting ways. Now, if Shin stayed with Thrawn and went back with Thrawn on that Star Destroyer, I would think it would have made a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But she stayed there too, in that new galaxy. Didn't leave with Thrawn. Then why did they go their separate ways? Why didn't Shin just stay with Balin? That makes no sense to me at all.
You're right. I agree. Because they want the setup for Shin to have a story down the line, I would think that it's going to be her teaming up with Ahsoka and Sabine.
But then why? But why don't keep her with Balin though? Like, what is the purpose of making her the leader of those scavenger people? Like, it just makes no sense. It just is a waste of her character.
I'm excited to see season 2 Shin Hati. I didn't really. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's like the greatest thing ever." I didn't get that sense from this. I think that
I thought she was cool.
I thought she was cool.
And I thought she was hot too, but
she definitely is. She's very attractive. I think that we we should have seen a little bit more for us to see where she was going, as opposed to saying, "I wonder what's going to happen next." You know, like she should have been a little further on in her arc, I think.
I actually thought that Shin got a ton of arc in that episode, in that season. I just wish that I think she had a great arc going for her, and then as soon as Balin and Shin kind of separated ways there, it felt like it meant nothing. Like it didn't go anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we'll see in season 2, but I definitely want to discuss the ending here with Balin on the statues of the Mortis gods.
Mm-hmm.
That is really, really cool. And I think this right here is the sole purpose that Sabine and Ahsoka did not get on the Star Destroyer with Ezra. Is because I think there's a really, really big story here that they were, I guess, originally planning to do for season 2. And unfortunately, you know, Ray Stevenson passed away, so we don't know if this will happen or not. Maybe they're going to fill in Shin as in maybe the placeholder for Ray Stevenson, maybe. Is kind of what I think they'll adapt it to. But essentially, you know, I think Balin here is trying to unlock the power of the Mortis gods, is what it was kind of implying. But this has such a huge connection to Ahsoka because the daughter, one of the Mortis gods, if you haven't seen Clone Wars, go watch that Clone Wars arc. But like the daughter kind of lives inside of Ahsoka. The daughter sacrificed herself to save Ahsoka's life. And so you kind of saw the little owl thing at the end of the episode. That is kind of like the spirit animal, or like the Force reincarnation of the daughter that watches over Ahsoka.
The Sabine Skywalker scene.
I thought it was kind of funny, but
so are you saying you think that Balin will end up going through a similar process where he will take on one of the Mortis gods, like
no, I think Balin is going to try to unlock this power or whatever, and Ahsoka is going to have to kind of like take the place of the daughter and try to stop him. Is what I think, and that's why she has to be there. And you kind of saw the daughter's statue there was missing the head, obviously because the daughter died, I think is what that was kind of referring to.
Right.
But I think, you know, Ahsoka's going to have to kind of take the place of the daughter.
Interesting.
It's kind of, and that's what I think they were planning for season 2. So I think season 2 was going to be strictly, you're going to have Ezra, Thrawn, and, you know, Hera, the Rebels crew, in that galaxy doing their thing, and then it would be like a subplot with Ahsoka and Balin and Shin and Sabine in the second galaxy doing their thing. And I don't think that Ahsoka would come back until the end of the season.
So do you think that they're all going to be like warring with each other on Peridia, or do you think that they will eventually team up and come back together, come back to the other galaxy together?
I think that's tough. I think Balin and Shin want to be there, or else they would have left with Thrawn. That's his name. Yeah. But I think Ahsoka knows that she has to be there to stop Balin from whatever he's planning.
Did Shin want to be there, or was she just kind of dragged into it?
So I don't know. Give me a second.
I'm just noticing now, like I've been trying to get my beard to start to become Balin-ish, and I think we're getting there.
It's looking good, yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. But I think it's one of those where like I think Shin. See, that's just where I'm confused about, because Balin is like, go, you know, serve your empire. You have much bigger plans than what I have for you.
Hello, Landspeeder Luke.
Oh, hey, what's up, Landspeeder? Nice to see you in the chat. as always.
Yes, Liev Schreiber was suggested. I think he could do a good job.
So do you think they're going to recast Balin, or do you think they're going to kill off his character?
I think they should recast.
I 100% agree.
And they could do just a straight recast, and like with someone like Liev Schreiber, or they could do something where Balin goes through some sort of physical change, put him in a mask, put him in something, or make him infused with a Mortis god of some kind, and then have him physically look different, which would justify why he is played by a different actor.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should do the deep fake.
Yeah. I think it would be too expensive for them to do.
And it never looks good. Like, I think that they should recast Luke and Leia. Like, if they put them in the Heir to the Empire movie, don't do the deep fake. I know you have your thoughts on it, but I think they should just recast to save a ton of money. And as soon as we get used to it, it's just like every time they recast James Bond. It takes a movie. As soon as the second movie comes out, everyone's like, "Oh, that's James Bond," and we move on.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll see. I think as far as Balin goes, I think they had a lot planned for his character, and so you can't really just write him off.
agreed.
So I think they have to recast him, or else you're going to have a Black Panther 2 situation where you just kind of have to make with what you have. And so I
talked about recasting for Black Panther. And
I know they talked about it, and I think like out of respect for Chadwick, they didn't, and I honestly wish they would have. Like I think I know in the comics Shuri was Black Panther 2 in some of the comics, so they had a way to go with it, which makes sense.
Little sidebar here, but have you heard Ryan Coogler's original story for Black Panther 2?
I did not.
Okay, I'll try to make it really quick. But so there's the part you've seen Black Panther 2? There's the part where Shuri and I forget the mom's name, the queen's name. They kind of go out and have like sort of like a spiritual event at night. So the original story that Ryan Coogler wanted to do was Black Panther coming back from the blip, and he has a son that missed the first 5 years of his father being there, and they're trying to reconnect. So they go on like a similar spiritual journey, like a camping thing. They end up getting attacked, and then that springboards T'Challa trying to balance being a hero and being a father. He's trying to defend his son and raise him to be a good man, but he's also has this other thing in his life that he has to try and protect others. And so Ryan Coogler, the writer director, talks about it in a couple of different places. I'll see if I can find a video for you, but it's just really interesting to hear him say, and that's why he was wanting to recast, because he wanted to tell that story. They decided that they didn't want to recast, and so he had to rework the story, and it wasn't the same. So
yeah, I think that would have been awesome. Like I didn't hate Black Panther 2, but again, you could tell that it was not what it could have been. But
Big Bendu brings up a good point. I think they should do this with the post what happened to the main characters from the original trilogy. Also, they should do an animated series that goes into what happens to Luke, Han, Leia, Lando,
that'd be cool.
R2, C3PO, and then you don't have to do the deep fake stuff. They could have a whole new push for children's toys, like geared towards kids, because let's be honest, almost everything that comes out, the Star Wars Black Series and TVC right now is really, even though the sales might be for children, they're geared towards adult collectors, I believe.
I agree. Yeah.
And if you could have a brand new toy line, I mean, they tried doing it with like the Younglings that they came out with, the little like where they're it's like the little teddy bear, and they have
Oh, the Young Jedi.
is that what it is?
I think so. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
If they did like a new Clone Wars, but have it be called the New Republic. Boom.
I think that'd be awesome. Yeah. I don't know why I haven't thought of that.
That would be so cool.
And I mean, I think at that point too, you don't necessarily need to recast at least all of them. I think you could still have Luke play Luke if you wanted to. You still have Mark Hamill play Luke or voice Luke if you wanted to. Now, obviously, I don't think that's a long-term solution because Mark Hamill's not going to be around forever,
right?
Unfortunately.
We want you to be around forever, Mark.
I think the problem is because I mean Mark Hamill did a lot of voice acting too. Mm-hmm. I think the problem is he's going to break out into the Joker voice halfway through, and but I think honestly he would love to voice act Luke. I think he would love to do it.
I could see that. We should hit him up on Instagram.
Did he DM him? Yeah.
Well, I don't think he would ever respond. I talk to his son every now and then, but. But maybe if it got enough traction, he would respond.
Yeah,
he doesn't really have any say in it.
But, I'm sure he doesn't. But I think
maybe it could get the ball. Oh wow, that image didn't come out the way that I wanted it to. There's supposed to be another cover there. It must have not resized correctly.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool to have a version of the Heir to the Empire. Oh, okay. Hot take. What if they completely changed gears? We did the Ahsoka live action show. Didn't really, as far as the viewership goes, it's not getting quite the numbers that they had hoped, despite what they're trying to present it as. Like the actual numbers aren't as good from what I've heard. Mm-hmm. What if they just went back to an animated style? Heir to the Empire is no longer a feature film. What if it's a 5-season animated series? Thrawn, Luke, Leia, politics. You could have sort of a Clone Wars element of like the camaraderie between the soldiers. That could be really cool. I think that could be really cool. And then you could start doing some of the things that would maybe be too expensive to try to do in live action. And I think that's also one of the things. You had sent me a bunch of episodes so I could kind of learn the story of Fives. And I mean, I watched the Clone Wars, but it's been a long time. Mm-hmm. So that really helped. Thanks, by the way, being able to go in and see the story of Fives. And in the meantime, I got to see Anakin and Ahsoka sort of kind of going through the Clone Wars style of lightsaber play. Mm-hmm. Seeing that, and then especially like the season 7 duel with Maul, versus what we get in live action.
So I actually, there's a reason for this.
Okay.
And it happened in the sequel trilogy too. Mm-hmm. But in the prequels they used like wooden sticks on the end of the hilts. Mm-hmm. And so they're rather light for dueling. Right. Whereas when Disney took over, they want to cast that light onto the person.
Right.
And it's quite interesting. If you actually look at the prequels, the only person that has light casted on them from their lightsaber is Yoda, because he's a fully CGI character.
There's actually one shot in episode 2 where Anakin does.
That could be.
It's they did like a weird slow motion. There's a couple shots. Slow motion sequence with him when he's dueling Dooku. Mm-hmm. What they did was they had practical lightsaber with light emitted, and it had a wire running down his arm, so he couldn't move, but he could kind of do this thing. And so, like, if you go back, you see Attack of the Clones. He does wave the saber around, and you do see it. That is true, what you're saying.
But the lightsabers that Disney use, since they're the actual LED sabers, they're heavier, and so you can't really maneuver them as well, and they don't look as good when you maneuver them.
They would probably break if they hit them too hard. If they went too...
Yeah, and also just like the weight distribution too, since the weight's not all at the handle, when you go to swing it, it doesn't look the same when you you're doing the super the super like maneuverable moves. I don't know if that made sense, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But sorry for interrupting you there.
No, you're fine. But to counter what you're saying, they could very easily just use sticks again, and they could replace them on the fly and in post-production if they have markers for the lightsaber. They can use that for reference and cast an artificial light onto the actor. I think it would take a little work, but the level to which they can do things on the fly now is neat. Or they could just actually have a physical light there that they could wave on and off.
Well, I mean, at this point too, with how special effects work, you could cast that light through special effects nowadays, where you couldn't back in the prequels. Like, this is something that I did when I made my fan film, is I had to do the casting, the keyframes for casting the light on the different people from the sabers. Now, obviously, it's not professional like something that Lucasfilm or Industrial Light and Magic would have done. But, you know, if I can do it off of my Mac with a $0 budget, then Disney's multi-billion-dollar company can do it just fine.
Right. Well, by the way, another sidebar. When you sent me that little clip for the first time where you ignite the lightsaber and it casts the green light and it hits your eye, I was like, so proud of you.
That was my favorite scene of the.
That was so awesome.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Hunted, go watch Hunted.
It's awesome.
It's linked in the description of every video, by the way. So
is it?
It is.
So I should watch it every single time.
Absolutely.
I also thought it was cool when that other YouTuber did the reaction.
The reaction, yeah. That I ended up filming a reaction to his reaction, and then I think I lost the footage of it.
Oh, okay. Well, now you have to shoot a reaction to your reaction to the reaction.
To his reaction, yeah. But it was pretty cool. It was nice to see his thoughts on it.
Yeah,
so,
that's pretty neat.
But are there any final wrap-ups?
No, I think I'm good. I'm sure we could keep talking more and more about the nuance of Ahsoka, and but where we left it, I want an animated series.
I do too. So I think my one wrap up thing would be, now this could be live action or animated, but I want them to really do a deep dive into Luke and his Jedi temple and do because just from my personal experience, my favorite video game of all time is Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which I played it so much growing up. I watched my dad play it before I was old enough to understand how video games even worked, and I probably played through it and beat the game 20 times. Not even a joke. I absolutely love that game. I played it 10 times more than Republic Commando or Force Unleashed. Nice. It's one of my favorites of all time. And just give me a Kyle Katarn and go into that storyline, because there's so much you can go into there.
Right.
But that's what I would say. If you're gonna do more live action content, I mean, just go into newer stuff. I understand Ahsoka, what they're trying to do is new, but it's an already existing character. Give me a Kyle Katarn TV show where you can really do anything you want with it. Where I mean, I feel like a lot of that is just so unprecedented with with that expanded universe, there's so much you can go into with it, and there's like very little restrictions. So
Yeah, I think that'll be awesome. I actually I had a little kernel of an idea the other night. So we see Luke go from being he wants to train Grogu to almost killing his nephew to force projecting himself and dying, and he's like that broken old man, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and a lot of people were upset at how Luke got treated in that. But I was like, what if in the context of these now 20 years that we have leading up to The Force Awakens, what if in the Heir to the Empire books, Leia has twins, Jason and Jaina, and in the movie we have the representation of Ben, who's kind of the version of Jason who ends up falling to the dark side and everything. So what if something happens where during Heir to the Empire, the movie, there are twins, but Jaina ends up dying, and that sends Luke on a rampage. And so there was a comic book series called Dark Empire where Luke actually joins the dark side and meets up with a clone version of the Emperor. And but what if they incorporate those things, and that would explain where the Jaina character went, and then it would also explain why Luke lashed out at his nephew, and why afterwards, like, so maybe he has his like little dark decade, and then he sees the light and tries to open the school again, but that darkness is still inside of him. As soon as he lashes out at Ben, he's like, I can't do this, and that's why he goes into solitude.
It would be nice to see them kind of expand on how he fell into that old man island hermit. But
yeah, so anyway.
I'd love to see them explore the clone Luke story.
Luke.
But anyway, that is probably going to wrap up this stream. If you guys enjoyed, hit the like button and subscribe. And thank you again, SideQuester, for joining.
Thank you for having me.
If you haven't subscribed to SideQuester's channel, go check it out. Link in the description. Go check out his book too.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Good night.